Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're hopping back into the Garp challenges, all the 10-star events, using a mono strength team to get all those Chopper Band missions done for you guys. So the team that you see on screen, led by the new Luffy and Sanji, is technically mono strength. Obviously with dual units they still count, but this particular team does all of them very, very well and very, very safe. The downside is it is a bit of a stallier team. We aren't using a friend Luffy Sanji throughout the run. We are using what's his name? We are using all of the strength super typings just to sort of showcase them. Now, they aren't essential. You can pretty much just chop and change between whatever strength unit you guys want to bring. But for Dofi 1, bringing the Sweet Generals is very, very essential, as they can just remove despair with their amazing captain ability. But it's led by our boy Luffy Sanji, this particular team. They are obviously orb manipulation, attack booster, 5x leader, overhealing. They're very, very good, and because of them, all of these runs are very, very safe, very, very easy to do. Next unit we have is the gods, or the queens themselves, Vivi and Rebecca. Chain lock with their switchability, healing with their switchability, removes defense up, damage reduction. You name it, they've got it, basically. Very, very good unit. And with the Bardo support, we can actually get a lot of healing as well as threshold, as well as every single one of these events actually has attack up. On our Luffy Sanji as well, something very important to notice, we are using the pudding support. She's essential to get around the stun on the Enel stage. Next, we've got our boy Stampede Buggy. This guy's a god, especially for Enel, but his attack down and his paralysis removal is very, very good for the other fights as well. You do need his limit break key, however, because you do need the fear reduction, at least level 3 if you are using this team. And we do have the Alvida support on him as well. This is not essential. I've never really used this Alvida as support. And I figured, hey, well, now's the time to do it, right? Definitely not required, but it's kind of funky how she works. Next, we've got limited rare recruit Lucy. This guy here can easily be replaced with someone like the Legend Lucy, the unevolved version. The big reason that we do have Lucy here is we can actually use the Halloween Ace support to remove bind, especially on the Revolutionary Army stage. Removing bind is actually quite essential, as Robin will bind your captains. But with our boy Lucy himself, he can actually remove bind with his special as well as manipulating block orbs. He removes burn, which is great for Revolutionary Army as well. Plus, he's a very high attack boost to a mono strength team as well. But as mentioned, you could just replace him with like Legend Lucy or another sort of like character that can use the ace support. Next, we've got Enel. This guy's a god for WhiteBeard. He removes paralysis, attack down, and chain lock. You can use the paralysis removal for the Dofi fight as well, and it can also come in handy on the Enel stage itself. But we can also use this Dofi support to give driven characters an orb buff, as Enel is actually manipulates orbs. Finally, we have the Nostra Costello, just for that extra attack as well as that massive HP buff. So that shit works very, very well. And with this particular team, there's just so much healing and damage reduction. Well, sorry, so much healing really, that it just has no real issues getting these done. So that's enough about the team. Let's hop into the run and let's take on the 10-star Garps challenges. So for the first of the Garps challenges, we're taking on Heavenly Demon 1. Now with the very first run, we're actually using the Sweet Generals as our friend captain, as they can actually remove just 10 turns of despair, which helps us out significantly when we're taking on this particular fight. Now, if you want to, you could easily use a friend Sweet Generals for this entire run. They should be able to do it very, very easily. But for the rest of the video, I have sort of showcased a couple of the other strength leaders, like V2 Snakeman and Odin. But I really wish that I actually included Bullet in here somewhere, as Bullet is another very, very good option for you guys as a mono strength leader. So on the second stage of the Dofi fight, we do come up against the Vacuum Cleaner Lady Chick. So what we're going to do here is we're going to switch with our Vivi Rebecca so we can get a chain lock, and then we can just make sure that we have enough damage output to take her out with the Lucy special. Lucy special, just giving so much utility, is so amazing, as well as utilizing the ace support, as well as having an attack boost as well. That limited rare recruit Lucy is absolutely god tier. On the next stage against Rebecca, she's going to give us 3 turns of paralysis, and she has 2 turns of defense up. This is where the support of Alvida actually is fairly useful, as we can actually take out 2 turns of the defense up, and that way we can save our Vivi Rebecca special. Now, you could easily use the Vivi Rebecca special here. It's probably going to make things a little bit quicker to remove all of the defense up and then just do as much damage as you possibly can against Rebecca. But with this particular team, we actually don't have a way of getting the super typing of the Sweet Generals, so we are doing significantly less damage to Rebecca. Now, I just realized when I was attacking her, though, that the strength units are the only ones that actually do damage, so I decided to just put in a few pot shots there, do as much damage as I possibly could to hopefully take her out on this next particular stage. Fortunately, though, we don't have the damage. So anytime that you realize you don't have the damage with Luffy Sanji, this team is so safe that any meat orbs you guys see, it's actually well in your favor, well, more in your favor to actually eat the meat orbs than try and get out as much damage as you possibly can, as staying at that max HP pool for Luffy and Sanji is going to maximize your damage as well as give you a much higher attack multiplier when you use their special. On to the next stage now, we come up against the Dressrosa units. We've got Bellamy, King Ricky, King Punch, who's that there? Hack, is it Dagama, and Blue Gilly? I think his name's Blue Gilly, something like that. So what we want to try and do here is this stage actually can look a little bit daunting, but it just depends on what hit counters you guys get. Now, I did get very lucky here, and the only character that had a one-turn hit counter was Bellamy, so I decided to take Bellamy out first, and then focused on the other units. Now, unfortunately, we did, Unfortunately, we do have a one-turn hit counter on the rest of them, but on the second turn, King Punch actually puts up attack up. And whenever there's an attack up, we actually can proc the support of Barto. Now, that support of Barto is really handy as he gives us damage threshold, so that even if we did get attacked by the three of them there, we wouldn't take that much damage, as we did get a lot of healing from Barto, as well as the damage, the threshold, so like it reduces a significant portion of damage over a certain amount. After that, we can just take out Hack, and then we can focus on King Punch before he does that giant death hit. Make sure that you guys do take him out before that big death hit, because he will kill you. Like, he hits you so damn hard that's not even funny. But with this particular team, we do have so much HP, but even still, like, I don't think we could just tank that shot. Use the switchability of Luffy Sanji and Vivi Rebecca to make sure you guys get healing every single turn. And that way you can stay at a nice chunky HP. This team has a lot of HP, 54k regularly, going up to 8,000 with the overheal mechanic is amazing. On the Bardo stage, we're going to be able to remove the Despair with the Sweet General's amazing Friend Captain ability. And then we can just use our normal attacks to take him down. Bardo does hit very hard for around 17k every single turn. But as mentioned, with Luffy and Sanji's amazing overheal mechanic, like that 17k, honestly just doesn't even look like anything at all. As we can just heal back up with meat orbs, switch with Vivi Rebecca to get healing every single turn, and even after taking 2 shots from Bardo, we're basically still at max HP, which is just absolutely wild. So once the barrier goes away from Bardo, we can use our Lucy special once again. This team is basically built around attack boosters. We don't actually have any orb boosters on this particular team, which is a bit of a downside, but as I mentioned at the beginning, you could easily replace Lucy with someone that could maybe or like someone that does like an orb buff, maybe like Ace or something like that. But using the Halloween Ace support was actually really handy. On the second last stage against Treble and the 3 of his lackeys, we can actually use our Enel special to remove the paralysis. He's going to rotate his orb into matching, which gives driven characters an orb buff. And then we can actually use our Luffy Sanji special, and that way we can give ourselves a massive attack buff. With that, with the switchability of Vivi Rebecca as well, we should be able to take them out pretty easily. We should be able to take out Treble pretty easily and do as much damage to the units in the back as we possibly can. With the overheal mechanic, once again, we have max HP, which is very handy for the 5x captain of Luffy Sanji, as well as that 2.5 times attack boost. Unfortunately, we can't carry that into the final stages, as we did take 2 turns to take out Treble. But against Dofi and his lackeys, we can just basically use our Sweet General special and make things very easy for us. But on the first turn, we are going to switch with Vivi and Rebecca and our Luffy Sanji, and we're not going to switch with Luffy Sanji apparently. We just want to really focus on taking out the units next to Dofi, as they can have 1-turn cooldowns. If they're both on 1-turn cooldowns, literally just take them out. They have 6 HP each. The idea is to just focus on killing them. That way you don't have to worry about taking too much damage. On the second turn, when we do have our full team of red units, we can use the special of the Sweet 3 to get the amazing attack boost, the chain buff, and the color affinity to easy wipe Dofi. So that was Heavenly Demon 1 with the mono strength team. Let's hop into Revolutionary Army 1 now. So moving into the next Garp challenge now, we are taking on Revolutionary Army 1. Now, Revolutionary Army 1, we are bringing a V2 Snake Man as our friend captain this time, as we can actually activate the super typing of Snake Man as well as his amazing orb buff. So this team can function with Sweet Generals for all of them if you really want to, but I did want to show off some of the other super typings, as Strength just has a plethora of very good leaders. Obviously, we are using Luffy Sanji as our leader, but with V2 Snake Man, Odin, Sweet Generals, they all have a lot of very good they have a lot of very good strong strength leads. On stage 2, when we come up against Kuma. He puts up 2 turns of defense up. You can actually use the special of Buggy here with the Alvida support to remove that if you want to. But I thought, hey, I'm just going to use the Vivi Rebecca special, as I felt like lots of people probably don't have the support of Alvida. So that way we can remove the defense up with Vivi and Rebecca. And then we can just take out Kuma on this particular turn. We have plenty of damage even without any other specials, as we do have a full board of strength orbs. Snake Man giving that 5 times captain multiplied to our strength units with matching orbs is just, or with strength or meat orbs, is just very, very handy. On the next stage against Robin and her fodder units, they're going to give our captains blind. So this is where the support of Halloween Ace is very, very good. But we can actually use the Lucy special to remove the blind easy peasy and turn all of those bomb orbs into matching orbs. Lucy also gives our strength and our psi units a 2.25 times attack boost, and as you guys will see there, we can actually just fly through that stage easy peasy. You can take an extra turn on Robin if you want to, or if you don't have the damage, but with that attack boost and the matching orbs, it's absolutely GG for the entire stage. On to the next stage against Ivankov and Inazuma. They are going to actually blow away one of your middle characters. Now, the focus here is to try and take out Inazuma, but because we are running a mono-strength team, we just lack a lot of damage to be hitting him there. So, and I'm a spoon and miss perfects, apparently. So, we do want to try and take him out on the second turn, before Ivankov, if we can. But Ivankov is the most important one, as he actually blows away characters if you don't take him out. So, you can use the Snake Man special on the first turn of entering this stage, or you can actually use it on the second turn like I did here. The main focus here is just to make sure that you can take out Ivankov and try and take out Inazuma as well, just to avoid any extra damage. On the next stage against Morley and Bello Betty, Morley's going to have a 1-turn barrier, which is like an extra HP barrier, and they put up attack up. So this is where Bardo, that support of Bardo again is very, very handy, as we can actually get a threshold. Now, taking out Morley in 1 turn without any specials is almost near impossible. So having that extra threshold that Bardo provides is very, very handy, as Morley actually locks us onto him, and then Bello Betty is going to attack us with that attack up. So we're not going to take like any damage at all from Bello Betty with the threshold live, as well as getting that little bit of extra healing from Bardo on Vivi and Rebecca. Because of that extra healing, we are sitting very comfortably with a nice chunky HP pool, and because of that, we can actually just tank shots from Bello Betty very, very easily. Now, Bello Betty doesn't have that much HP, so once you do kill Morley, you will notice that you will just destroy Bello Betty very, very easily. And I think that's actually what we do on this particular stage. We actually managed to take out Morley fairly easily. And then we're just with the single shot from Snake Man. Oh, no, we actually don't. We come very, very close. After the third turn, if you don't kill Bello Betty, she puts up that Enrage, which means she is going to do even more damage. But like I mentioned in the opening, this team is just ridiculously safe across every single one of these fights. It's probably the longest that I've taken on any of these Garp challenges, compared to, say, Dex, Psy, Quick, and what's the other one? Int. But this team, the strength team, was by far the easiest. This was actually my first run on every single one of these events that I managed to clear it with. So on the stage against Morley and Kurosawa, this is where you actually wanted the Lucy special to be back. So you taking extra turns on, say, the Robin stage, getting the extra sort of 2 turns there would be able to bring you down a little bit lower, and taking a few extra turns in the earlier stages, I think against probably against Bello Betty, or against I think Bello Betty's probably the only other stage. But as you guys will see here, it's really not that big of a deal, as they are on 2-turn cooldowns, and with the massive amount of HP that Luffy and Sanji do provide, taking the shot from Kurosawa and Lindbergh was not an issue whatsoever. So what we want to do now is we don't even have to worry about stalling out the special blind, as our boy Lucy can actually remove that as well. But as you'll see here, just because we have type disadvantage against Kurosawa, we are going to be able to taking a few shots. But with the healing that Luffy Sanji has, as well as Vivi Rebecca, we can just keep getting that HP back up and up and up. But you could use that Snake Man super typing a little bit earlier to make sure you had the damage. As I mentioned, like, this was my first run utilizing this team, so I wasn't 100% sure like what characters had the perfect amount of damage to be taking out. But you could easily use the super typing of Snake Man on Kurosawa earlier to take him out nice and quick. On the final stage against Sabo and Koala, they do a big HP cut and they give us 3 turns of burn. what we're going to actually do here is we can actually just switch with our Luffy and Sanji, then use their special to get some healing back, as well as get a 2x attack boost. Unfortunately, because we don't get the max HP with the HP cut, we are going to miss out on the 2.5 times attack boost. So if you wanted to, you could actually use the Lucy special first and get the bigger attack buff. That way you get a 2.25 and then finish it off with Snake Man's Ore buff to not only remove the burn, get an attack buff, and have a 2.5 times Ore boost with Snake Man's special at the end there. Once you do kill, what are their names? Sabo and Koala. They do res, but just literally with switch abilities, we can take them out easy peasy. So now we're going to head into WhiteBeard now. Mono strength, done. So I'm moving on to the next Garp's challenge now. We are taking on WhiteBeard. And for this particular one, I did bring a V2 Snake Man. Now, V2 Snake Man does work the best, I feel, with all of these teams, besides the Dofi, because you do want the Despair removal from the Sweet Generals. Mainly because we have a Lucy on this team, so we can actually activate both of his super type mechanic and his special to get the ore boost and the attack buff. That extra special, and obviously making all of our strength units super typings, helps out quite a lot. I'm not 100% sure if Sanji actually procs the super typing because it's Luffy and Sanji, but it might. On to the first technical stage against Watermelon Headman. He's going to give us 4 turns of attack down, and he's going to do a HP cut. So we can actually use our Buggy special to remove the attack down, as we do want to hang on to our Enel special for the final, well, not the second last stage against Marco and Vista. So we can remove the attack down with our Buggy special. Then we can actually just use the super type of Snake Man, turn everyone into super strength units, and with that attack buff, we can actually take out Mr. Watermelon Headman nice and easily. Because we have a lot of attack boosters on this particular team, using his super typing early is going to help us when we have type disadvantage as well as type advantage, and we don't really need an extra attack boost as we already have 2 other attack boosters on this particular team. So on the next stage against Higuma, Atmos, and the big chain ball guy, we are just going to basically use our switch abilities here and try and take out Higuma in the front. Taking out Higuma in the front is actually very important, as he is the one that does most of the damage. Now, if you don't kill Atmos, as you'll see here, he's actually going to bind our healing, and the chain ball and the guy in the back, he's just going to blow away, like I think our friend captain or 2 random units after the second turn. But with our limit break for this particular team, we can actually remove all of the anti-healing that Atmos gives us, and then we just want to make sure that we do kill Mr. Chainball Man after that, so we can take him out so we don't take any extra damage as well as lose any characters, as our boy Atmos is just going to basically hit us as we can get around that recovery blind. Recovery is sort of built for this particular team, as mentioned in the very beginning of the video. So if you don't have max limit break on these characters, it's going to make this a little bit tricky, as getting all that extra healing with Luffy Sanji is basically the main way that this particular team functions. So now that we've just sort of stalled out our special blind, we can sort of make our way through Atmos' HP. We are going to gobble up any meat orbs along the way if we can, as any extra healing is good healing. On to the next stage against Isu, Speed, Giru, and Fossa. They're going to put up Attack Up, this is where the support of Barto is very, very handy, as we can actually get a heal back with his support, as well as get Threshold as well, which is very, very handy if we do need to tank any damage on this particular turn. Fossa can be on like a 2-turn cooldown, which is a little bit annoying, but Speed, Giru, and Iso are always going to be on a 1-turn and a 2-turn cooldown. So just make sure you do take out them fairly quickly, but with the Threshold that Barto does give us, we can sort of just not worry about the damage from Speed Guru anyway. Because we have type advantage on Isu as well, we can take him out very, very easily, and then just put a few pot shots into Mr. Fossa in the back there. Now, if Fossa is on a 2-turn cooldown, you do want to make sure that you take him out. I would actually target him first and then leave Speed Guru, as Fossa is actually going to do a buttload more damage than what Speed Guru can do. Then with our healing from our guaranteed meat orbs, the switch ability from Baby Rebecca, we can easily get our HP back up to a nice healthy margin. And as you can see, we're already sitting back to upwards of around 80k HP. The fact that we have so much HP is just actually ridiculous with Luffy Sanji. 50k HP is pretty big in itself. Then you just double that with the overheal mechanic. It's just wild. On to Jozu now. He puts up 3 turns of defense and damage reduction. This is where the special of Vivi Rebecca is absolutely god tier, as we can remove both of those with a chain lock and get color affinity. But with this particular team, unless you are in the Vivi variation, you're not going to have to worry about that color affinity at all. But with the super typing that Luffy does provide, we can just get buttloads of damage to take him out. And with the special of Luffy and Sanji, we can just get the massive 2.5 times attack boost, the 5 times captain, and just blow Jozo away easy peasy. On to the next stage against Marco and Vista. They're going to paralyze us for 3 turns. They give us 3 turns of attack down and 3 turns of chain lock. So this is where the special of Enel is very, very good, as he removes basically all of that, easy peasy. And then he's actually going to give our driven units a orb buff. Now, unfortunately for us, we didn't have an orb on our buggy, who's the only other driven unit on this particular team. But because Enel does rotate orbs, he can get the orb buff for himself, and that way we can actually just take out Marco easy peasy. Make sure you hit with your Enel last though, because we don't have the chain lock from BB Rebecca. And then after we've taken out Marco, we can focus on Vista and just take him out with our normal attacks. Onto the final stage now, we come up against Ace and WhiteBeard. WhiteBeard obviously has that monstrous HP, but he has been hit a little bit, and Ace is going to be our main focus. Now, as you can see, we've just got like a monstrous amount of HP, so taking shots here isn't that big of an issue. We can actually probably even take a shot from WhiteBeard, but we do get that HP cut from Pudding, as we do need that for the Enel fight in the next part of the video. But what we can do here is just use our switch abilities, gain the 2.5 times chain lock with VV Rebecca. We can use the special of Lucy to give us an attack boost, and then with the special of Snake Man, we can get a 2.5 times orb boost. And with that, it's just going to be absolutely GG for our boy Ace and WhiteBeard. Just catch you later. So that was WhiteBeard done. Same mono strength team. So let's hop into Enel now. So the final Garbs challenge is against Eneru, and for this particular run, I just decided to bring Kazuki Odin. Now, the downside to this particular team, the main team that I have built, is that we don't actually have an orb booster. So bringing someone like Kazuki Odin or V2 Snake Man, which just works very, very well, as they can be your dedicated orb booster for the team. Odin obviously can give us Wano orbs as well, which is very, very good. But unfortunately, with this particular team, we cannot actually trigger his super type. Bringing V2 Snake Man is probably much better, just because you get an extra attack boost, an extra orb boost. It will make things a little bit quicker, but I just want to show you guys that you don't actually need to be bringing Snake Man. You can get it done by using either another Luffy Sanji, or you could even use like Kazuki, like you can see here, Kazuki Odin. And you could probably even use the Sweep Generals as well. So on the second turn against the Skypiea enemies, we are just going to use our switch abilities of Luffy Sanji for the guaranteed orb, as well as VV Rebecca for the chain lock. We can basically take out 2 of them with the color affinity and then finish off the third one. Now, because we don't finish off the third Skypiea unit, he is going to put up attack up, which then triggers our healing for our Bardo support, which is very, very good for this particular team with the overheal mechanic. It just allows us to get a little bit of healing, and just basically, as you see here, sitting at around 81,000 HP by turn 3 is very, very handy. On this third turn against Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they have 2 turns of a Great Barrier that you have to hit 3 times, and they give us 2 turns of Burn. So be mindful with Kazuki Odin. If you are using Odin, he actually has Barrier Pen, so you can use that to your advantage to break the barrier and do a little bit of damage as well. But we are going to need to take at least 2 turns on this particular unit, as getting around their barrier just restricts our damage significantly, and hitting perfects is obviously going to give us more damage, as the burn damage is going to hit us fairly hard. So on the next turn against them, we are going to switch with our VV Rebecca for the chain lock and a little bit more healing. We can use our Luffy Sanji switch to give us matching orbs, and then we can once again break the barrier and then just do as much damage as we possibly can to move on to the next stage against Wiper and 2 of his lackeys. I think it's is Wiper the next stage? Yeah, Wiper is. So against Wiper and his 2 Skypiea friends, they are going to do a HP cut at the beginning of the stage, which is going to restrict our HP. Normally would do it significantly, but for this particular team, it doesn't even put a dent, as we do have that amazing overheal mechanic that Luffy Sanji does provide. So what we can do on this particular stage against Wiper and the 2 units in the back, we can actually use our Lucy special. Lucy's going to remove the special bind that's inflicted on us, and he's actually going to make sure that we can actually kill all of the units in the back. On the next turn, we can focus on Wiper, and we can eat any meat orbs if we need to, just to keep our HP nice and high. But normally with Wiper and his HP pool, it's going to take around 2 turns to take him out anyway. So don't be afraid to just eat the meat orbs, gobble them up, and then just cop the shot from Wiper. Wiper actually hits pretty hard, but with this particular team, again, with our overheal mechanic and the amount of HP we have with the Nostra Costello, it actually just works ridiculously well. So because Wiper's on a 2-turn cooldown as well, we can just easily take him down over the next 2 turns. And then we can move on to the next stage against Mr. Guy on the ball and not Pierre. But this particular stage here, normally, like I said, Wiper normally hits pretty hard. But as you see, we're back over our HP. And having that, 64,000 HP mark is just absolutely absurd. So on to the next stage against the guy on the ball and Mr. Not Pierre. We are going to get locked onto the Psy unit, and he has 4 turns of Threshold. That Threshold is actually, like, normally fairly annoying, and if we don't take him out on the first turn, he's actually going to give us 4 turns of attack down. But with this particular team, as we do have Enel on the team, we can actually use the Enel special to remove the attack down if we need to take an extra turn on the guys this particular stage. So because we get our specials roll back as well, it makes it very, very hard to actually have the damage here to take out the guy on the ball before he can actually apply that attack down, and they do hit very, very hard. But with this team, as I said at the beginning, it is very, very safe, as we have just so much goddamn HP that we don't have to worry about all these extra hits. And with the switchability of Vivi Rebecca guaranteeing 3,000 healing every single turn, and then with that guaranteed meat orb that Luffy Sanji can get every single turn, we can just keep our HP nice and high, and any other meat orbs that we see along the way, we can just gobble them up. Now that our specials are back, we can remove the attack down with our Enel special, which is really, really handy, as we really don't need his special for anything else this entire run. We can use his special, take away the attack down, we can switch with our Vivi Rebecca for a chain lock, and then we can just take out Mr. Not Pierre, easy peasy. Now remember, when you are Vivi, that the Nostra Costella isn't actually boosting the Dex unit, so maybe try and attack with her first, just if you need to maximize damage, and that way you can just make sure you're outputting the correct amount of damage to take out these units. On the next stage against Om and Gidatsu, they're going to blind our bottom row for 4 turns, and they have end of turn damage. With the switchability of Luffy Sanji, we can just remove that blind. Their switchability is goddamn amazing, like actually incredible. We can remove the blind, and then we can just destroy Om on that first turn. Unfortunately, like I said at the beginning, we can't get Kazuki Oden's super typing, so we would be able to do like a botload more damage, especially to Gidatsu here, as he is a quick unit. But with this particular team, we do have just enough damage to sort of take him out on the next turn, as he goes down to a 2-turn cooldown after that first turn, and he does blind 3 of your random units every single turn. Now if he doesn't blind Luffy Sanji, you're laughing, because you can just switch with him, switch to Luffy Sanji, and then take out Gidatsu. But the thing with Luffy and Sanji is you need to make sure that you are the strength variation of them moving into the final stage, because if you're not the strength variation, he won't, or Enel I should say, won't actually turn into the Dex variation. Make sure that you are strength or Luffy when you do move into this final stage, otherwise you are going to have a bad time. So against Enel, he's going to turn into a Dex unit, and he wipes away all our cumulative buffs. Not that big of an issue, but he does stun our captains, as well as special blind and fear our crew. So this is where the Stampede Boggy special is absolutely amazing, because we can remove the special blind, and he removes fear as well. With the pudding support, we can remove the stun. Then we can switch with our Luffy Sanji, get the guaranteed meat orbs, use their attack, get their attack boost, finish it off with Kazuki Oden, the chain lock with Vivi Rebecca, and we can use their special for color affinity. So there you guys go. That was the final Garp's challenge against Enel. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down and belt the like button, and if you are new, consider subscribing today. But guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Lights!